Good evening. This is Deion Johnson and Josh Sears over here at the Real Sports Repo, where we keep it real, 100% real. We're going to get into some questions that we think the fans want answered. So let's jump right into this, Josh. What you got for me today?
All right, there are four teams that are 2-2 that were in the playoffs last year. The Steelers, the Falcons, the Bears, and the Jets. Which one of these teams do you think has the best chance of getting back into the playoffs?
Okay, I'm not being biased in any way, but this happens to the Jets every year. They always start off a little rocky, things get a little bumpy, and then they wind up in the AFC Championship game. So I'm going to go and roll with the Jets. They seem to be the favorite here. They always wind up in the AFC Championship game. They've been there since Mark Sanchez has been drafted. I don't see them getting anywhere less than the AFC Championship game, but hopefully they can take it to the Super Bowl. The only problem they're going to have is that that offensive line doesn't hold up. Mark Sanchez is not going to be able to live up to any hype that preceded him when he got drafted. Pete Carroll didn't want him to come out of USC because he said he only had 1 year under his belt, and it was too quick and it was too fast. Matt Leinart had 4 years under his belt. What's he doing? Backing up Matt Schaub in Houston. And actually, that kind of sucks because he took the job from John David Booty, who actually was drafted by Minnesota, who should have been given a chance to start because he was more NFL ready than Matt Leinart. I know it seems like I'm shooting on Matt Leinart, and I am. And I don't care if you don't like it, Matt Leinart, because you suck. You came to Arizona, you stuck up the joint, and they kicked you out before the back end of your contract exploded, and they had to pay you a nice chunk of cash. They were smart for that reason. That's why you're a backup getting paid the minimal amount because you're not good enough. I see the Jets and Mark Sanchez, a more NFL-ready quarterback than Matt Leinart, with only 1 year under his belt in college, mind you, going right back to the AFC Championship. And I think that they can possibly win it this year. So I'm not even worried for Sexy Rexy and that team over there and that Jets defense. I'm not going to panic. First quarter of the season, at least they're 2-2 and not 0-4 like a few teams.
Well, you went ahead and answered what was going to be my next question. Do you think they're going to get to the AFC Championship? And if so, do they win it?
I do believe that they can actually try to get over the hump this year. They've got another bona fide receiver in Plaxico Burress. They still got Santonio Holmes. They still have Dustin Keller. The only question for them is, by the playoffs, is Nick Mangold ready to go? If Nick Mangold gets back on that line as center, he's going to be able to anchor that line and get those guys together. Everybody's going to play together, and things will be a little bit better. Their pass defense is going to be better, and their pass offense is going to be better, and their rush offense will be a little bit better. When Nick Mangold's in there, he just looks good, and he always holds up. When Nick Mangold's out, you see what happened. If you watch the Ravens game, they played with Mark Sanchez like he was just a little puppet. Slapped them all over the place, knocking the ball out of his hands. They had so much pressure on Mark Sanchez, man. If he had to go to the bathroom, he peed on himself.
Wow, nicely put. So next we're going to talk about Tony Romo. He, as we mentioned, had 3 touchdowns, led 27-3 this week. After that, it wasn't so hot. He threw 3 picks and, in my opinion, choked. I don't know what your opinion's going to be. First of all, let's get your opinion of the game. What did you think of Tony Romo in this last week?
I don't think anything of Tony Romo. I don't like Tony Romo. Tony Romo will not take them to a championship game. He barely even took them to the playoffs. Taken them to the playoffs twice. He's won once. 6 years you've given this team, and you've done nothing for them but get a lot of hype, date a few hot chicks, and do nothing. You're not giving them the wins that they need. You're not making the correct decisions when they need to be made. You need to focus and stay together and be on point about your stuff, man. Actually, Tony Romo, you need to give it up, okay? You're a good quarterback. Statistically, you're great. Playoff-wise, you suck. That's just how it is. There is no other way putting it. Chris Cooley said you choked. Yes, he is telling the truth. You did choke. You threw 3 picks, and you choked. That's your fault. That's your problem. Those losses are blamed on anybody but you, Tony Romo. That's it. That's the start. That's the finish. You will not take this team to a championship, Dallas. You may want to lose out, so you can try and get in on that Andrew Luck sweepstakes, just like everybody else who's 0-4. You might want to just go ahead and call the rest of the season now, so you can get you a new quarterback. Because Tony Romo is not going to cut it. He just isn't that good. I don't see anything in him that makes him better. Okay, so he had one week where he actually showed a little bit of gut and told his teammates what they need to do and got on them and made sure things were correct. Okay, whoop-de-doo. Who cares about that? That was one week. Next week you come back, stink up the joint. And the week after that, you come back and stink up the joint. Tony Romo, you stink, you suck, you did choke, and you will continue to show that statistically you're good, but when it comes to crunch time and the playoffs, when it really matters, you suck.
So another topic we're going to talk about here, the Eagles, they had a blowout, or not a blowout, they were blowing out the 49ers and ended up losing that game by a point.
Mm-hmm.
You're probably wondering where I'm going with this. Michael Vick was scheduled to do an appearance that he committed to a radio show and turned it down. For whatever reason, we don't know. Now, in my opinion, you're not 24/7 watching film. You're just not doing it. So, why do you think Michael Vick called this off, and what are your thoughts on it?
I'm not sure why he called it off. If you make a commitment to appear somewhere or be on a radio show or something like that, be a man of your word and show up. Michael Vick, yes, he's getting paid $100 million by the Eagles, but he's not Peyton Manning. And when I say that, I mean no disrespect to Michael Vick. What I mean by that is he's not in the film room like clockwork like that all the time, okay? People aren't going to do that every day and all the time. If you want to take your off day and go do something for you, go do something for you. It's not our business to worry about your personal business. What you do in your personal time is your business. Jay Cutler want to go visit his woman? He can go visit his woman. Who cares? That's that man's business. Leave him alone. Don't worry about what he does in his personal life. Worry about what he does on the field. And because somebody takes one day out to go do something for themselves or to go have some fun, they're wrong for that because they're not in the film room and they're not doing this and they're not doing that and they're not doing what you told them to do. You don't run them. You aren't them. You're not their mother. You're not their father. You are nobody to them. I am nobody to them. So who am I to judge somebody that doesn't want to stay in the film room on their day off because they want to go out and have some fun? Let them go have their fun. They're human beings just like us. They're normal people. They want to go to the mall. They want to go to the movies. Sometimes they just want to sit at home and do nothing. So let them do what they're going to do on their off day because it's their business and none of ours. Personally, I feel like Michael Vick should have made it. If he made the commitment to go and do the radio show and he gave them his word, then he should have went and did it. I wouldn't break any of my commitments. And at the same time, Michael Vick is a rising star again. Michael Vick, yeah, he got his big contract from the Eagles, but you forget, all his endorsements are coming back. People are starting to love Michael Vick again. Vick knew this when they put him in jail a few years back. He got smart. Tony Dungy mentored him, showed him how to be a perfect man. Andy Reid and those guys over there in Philadelphia showed him how to be a great quarterback. And now he really has the complete package. Before, he was just spectacular and dynamic, and you never knew what to expect out of him. But the one thing you could knock was he didn't know how to pass the ball. Now he knows how to pass the ball, and he knows how to perform in public. So I personally feel like he should have went and did the radio show. But if he didn't, that's that man's business. Let him do what he wants to do. Doesn't bother me what he does on his off days and what he doesn't do. As long as when game time shows up, Michael Vick's on that field, he's ready, he knows his playbook, and the coaches are comfortable, then he can go and do whatever he wants, whenever he wants. Shout out to Jay Cutler for going to visit your lady, man. Good job.
So, Brett Favre, we're going to talk a little Green Bay Packers here. They're 4-0. They're the world champions. Everything is going Green Bay's way. So, if everything's going Green Bay's way, why doesn't Brett Favre get into the mix, right? And he did by telling a recent Atlanta radio show that he was not surprised that Aaron Rodgers won a Super Bowl. He was just surprised at about how long it took and that he fell into the right situation. Everybody knows Brett Favre means by saying he fell into the right situation. Why don't you go ahead and unscramble what he's saying and put it in layman's terms and then give us your thoughts.
Okay, in layman's terms, Brett Favre was saying this: I groomed you, I helped you, you had the pieces around you. Why did it take you 3 years to win a Super Bowl ring? And I'm mad because nobody wanted to let me skip training camp this year and come and pick me up and make me their quarterback. And I'm Brett Favre, and I'm going to cry. Shut up. No one cares anymore, Brett Favre. We're tired of hearing your name. We're tired of your selfishness and your whininess and your crying and all that other stuff, man. You're in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. You're coaching. Just do that, okay? You yourself just told Aaron Rodgers that it took him too long. Now, him being the respectful guy that he is, he's still going to love you. He's going to appreciate you for grooming him and showing him the way and leading him, helping lead him into a good career and him showing everybody that he can be a great quarterback coming out of Cal. And that's perfectly fine. But to shoot on the kid when he won his Super Bowl in less time than you did is wrong. And as well, you screwed up your career. Okay? You, at the end of your career, had Green Bay and the state of Wisconsin in the palm of your hands, and you walked away from it. You took all those people that loved you and that praised you. You were almost like a god to that state, and you just crushed them. They took your jerseys and burned them. They don't even like you. Your bar and grill's probably not even making any money. There may be people that still love you, but they're very low key about it. There's a lot of people that hate you. Green Bay is the only team in the NFL that is owned by the people, for the people. And it's done that way because that's how they wanted it. So, when Brett Favre retires, he has tarnished his legacy. He hasn't destroyed it, he tarnished it. Is he a Hall of Famer? Guaranteed. Bona fide Hall of Famer. First ballot. I see no reason why he shouldn't go into the Hall of Fame. He has statistical categories where he leads the NFL all time in passing yards, interceptions, and in touchdowns. But at the same time, you don't want to do training camp, and then you play back and forth. Oh, I don't want to retire. Oh, I do want to retire. Oh, I don't want to retire. Oh, I do want to retire. Oh, I don't want to retire. You need to make your mind up, man. You're like a woman in the mirror. You don't even know who you want to be. You're just sitting there making a decision. Oh, I want to be pretty today. Now I'm going to be ugly tomorrow. You have to figure out what you're going to do, Brett Favre. And if you're going to coach kids in Mississippi and you're going to feel good about that, then do that. When you get older, I hope that your body holds up strictly based on all the hits that you took, because I don't want your body to break down on you, and I hope you stay in pretty good shape. As far as your legacy, you tarnished it when you got mad because Ted Thompson told you and Mike McCarthy told you that you were going to have to fight for your starting job because you were playing with everybody's emotions in Green Bay. Oh, I'm going to retire. Crying at the podium, making everybody believe you were going to retire, and you were walking away from the game, and everything was copacetic. Then you got that itch. Your body started telling you it was football time again. You come back and expect them to hand everything to you, and you weren't even there through the offseason, but Aaron Rodgers is there. You've already groomed the kids. You've already taught them everything you know, and he's actually a better quarterback than you are at this point. As far as he goes, Aaron Rodgers is pretty dang good. He's in there with the top 5 of the elite quarterbacks in the league right now. He's doing pretty good with his statistical categories, and actually he brought them a Super Bowl. So the people in Green Bay love him right now a little bit more than they love you. You built a legacy there, but you tarnished it because you played with the people's emotions of the city of Green Bay. You played with the people's emotions in the state of Wisconsin. You went on ahead and you retired. Then you unretired and you go to the Jets. And then you tear your biceps. You tear a tendon in your bicep. Okay. And then what happens? You take the Jets almost to the playoffs and get them there, and everything's great. And oh, I'm going to retire now. I don't think I can do it. And I know I got another year, but I can't do it. And then what do? You slap the state of Wisconsin in its face. You put on a Minnesota Vikings jersey, a direct rival to which you wanted to go to in the first place, and you just slapped them in the face. It's just wrong. Okay? Tarnish the legacy. You're wrong. You suck. We don't like you. Good evening.
Thanks for watching the Sports